This video is called the Oversexualization of Children and the society that's okay with it. Now, I want to start off this video by saying that in a lot of cultures, even within the Haitian culture, that children's bodies don't belong to them, in the sense of you have ownership of you, and your parents take care of you, and because they take care of you, they can do whatever they want to you. And I'm not talking in a skeevy sexual manner. I mean, like, if they tell you to do X, Y, and Z, you're supposed to do it. If they tell you, you know, this is what you're supposed to wear, and this is how you're going to take a shower, and X, Y, and Z, you're supposed to abide by their rules and regulations. And even certain conversations where, let's say, it's those preteen eras and you start to form or whatever, it's not unusual for, let's say, a family friend say, you know, has Tatiana, you know, grow some boobs, you know, hips came in and whatnot, and the parents are like, yeah, you know, she's got a little tatas and, you know, she's starting to form or whatever. It's not unusual to have these conversations, especially in front of the child, which makes them feel as if their body is not theirs, as if their private, intimate moments is for display, because parents don't understand that a child's body is not to be discussed. A child's body does not belong on the forefront of conversations. And when you have an environment like that where you don't respect your child's body by keeping it private, then other people won't respect your child's body. And with that being said, there comes sexual abuse. Sexual abuse happens because there is an opportunity for it to happen. Like I said in 2 of my videos, that most molesters have been molested, and most sexual crimes are not reported. So there could be a cousin that was molested, but no one knew about it, and that cousin never said anything. But because it's so open to walk around naked in front of you, take selfies or whatnot where you're laying up in the bed with your child, then the cousin says, oh, let me do it. There's nothing wrong with to do it. If you do it with your parents, then why is it wrong when we do it? And that cousin could take it and escalate it. Now the child's lines become blurry. What is safe touch? What is okay touch? And what's bad touch? It becomes blurry, because if you do it with your child, then what's the problem with someone else doing it with their child? Especially that someone has influence over a child, like a cousin or a coach, then it becomes an issue, but the child doesn't even know how to take it or how to process it, because they never expected it. No, we all have, or I hope, especially y'all who have kids, have the conversation of safe touch and bad touch and who's supposed to see your body, etc., etc. But what you don't prepare your children is, what should they do? A lot of people prepare the children, don't let it happen, but no one says, okay, well, if it happens in this moment, you do X, Y, and Z. We prepare our children more for, if there's a fire, with stop, drop, and roll. And most people are not going to experience a fire, but we prepare people accurately for fires, but we do not prepare our children accurately for predators. We just say, don't let it happen to you. And if it does happen to you, then what do you do? And most people who have been victimized, they keep it to themselves, because now they feel a sense of shame and guilt because it happened. Now what do I do with it? Can I take it to you? Told me not to do it, and it happened. Now I'm stuck with the repercussions. Now I'm stuck with guilt because you told me not to do it and it happened. Now I failed. And a lot of these kids are coming up and having these issues, these internal conflicts, because they have been sexually. And then with teen pregnancy, I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, like on MTV, they had 16 and pregnant. And I've heard stories about young girls getting pregnant, but that was when it was in the forefront. And it was shocking to me that you would actually put this on TV, as if, like, here's a pseudo documentary of people who are young, around my age, who had kids. And I heard stories of girls trying to end up pregnant so they can end up on the show. And I'm like, I don't know what MTV's whole mentality was with it. What was their thought process of, oh, I'm going to show you this so you don't do it? But in this generation, good publicity, bad publicity, just people knowing your name is important. So when people know your name, they're like, I'll do it. I'll take Ross Inman and have this kid. But am I going to be on the TV? And I was just shocked. But this is what happens. I mean, a lot of these kids who are teen parents, their parents were teen parents, or they were young parents. And that's the thing. Like, people don't understand your kids are watching. This is a cycle. when things are happening and there's no break of the cycle, there's no communication or education about the cycle, it perpetuates. So a lot of these teenagers their parents were teenagers when they had them, or they live in an environment where it's not a problem that you're young and you're having sex, and then you're young and you're left to yourself with other children, or you're young and you have been sexually abused, or you're young and you're experimenting. Like, these things are not abnormal. And when it becomes not abnormal, it becomes normal. So you do see a lot of teen pregnancy. I've seen a study that teen pregnancy is lower now, especially in the Black community. It's a little bit lower. But every so often, especially when you hit that sophomore, junior year, you see a lot more people getting pregnant. It was shocking to me. I remember when I was in high school, everybody was like having sex. And a couple of people were like doing things that were way outside of just touching and rubbing. It was more like full-blown orgies. And then by junior year, people were having kids. People were pregnant. And by senior year, people were going to prom pregnant. And I'm like, okay. Like, it's not shameful to have kids when you're a kid. You know, mom will adjust. She'll be pissed at first, but she'll adjust. The neighborhood will adjust. People will make you feel comfortable within the situation, instead of saying, this is not how it was supposed to be. This is not something that you should aspire to. Or, it just happened. It just happened. Shouldn't have happened because we all had sex ed. We all know how to prevent this. So you either carelessly did this, or you planned out to have this kid. And a lot of people, especially when you're young, you think whatever you think you're in your mind is how life is going to play out. And that's not true. That's young-minded thinking, that because I think this way, life is going to adjust itself to my way of thinking. And it doesn't. I can tell you, at 23, it doesn't. And with a lot of these kids, they don't realize how stressful and how much of a burden it is to be a parent, especially a young parent, especially a young single parent. They don't think about it until it actually happens. And then it's like, I want to take it back, but you can't take it back. Once you have that zygote, you can't take it back. Well, you could get abortion, but let's just say once you give birth, you cannot take that back. And I think a lot of these kids don't realize how much of their lives have to change for this child until it changes. And back to children being victimized, is that, like I said, it happens right underneath your nose. So when you do things that are sexually overt, whether it's twerking in front of your kids, which I feel like, who does that, but it happens, whether it's wearing promiscuous outfits or talking about sexual conversations, your kids are soaking that up. And if they know that their parents are liberated and their parents don't give a damn, it's easy for someone with a skeevy, deviant mindset to come in. And it's easy to groom them, especially if it's a family friend, if it's someone in the family, if it's a coach, if it's a reverend, whatever. It's easy because it's right underneath your nose, and they can groom the child. It could just be from little touch to big touch. It could be persuading the child, or buying gifts for the child, or giving the child money. And you're thinking that, oh, they just like my child. Oh, no, they just want to abuse your child. And because you're so caught up in yourself, you don't even realize it. And for this cycle to break itself, I do think that people need to have more conversations with this. You have conversations about everything else repetitively. Do your homework, clean your room, all these other things, having life skills. We need to, especially as Black people, we need to repetitively talk to your children. Don't make the children feel as if they're guilty if they did something wrong, but, you know, ask them, have you ever felt uncomfortable? Does anybody make you feel uncomfortable? Does everybody has ever persuade you or try to gift you or buy you into doing something? Has anybody tried to force you into something? Always have these conversations and let your child know this is what you do. With my sister on my father's side, she's 14 years younger than me. So that means I could have had her, but I didn't. I always have conversations with her, you know, don't allow people to touch your body. But if you are in a situation like this, this is what you do. I would have wished someone would have told this to me. I would have wished someone would have told me, if this does happen to you, in a situation where someone does want to violate you, or someone does try to flex their power over you, you don't do it. Yes, you respect people, you respect your adults. But if they disrespect you by coming at you in this particular manner, you no longer have to respect them. Because if they respected themselves, they would have never disrespected you. And this is what you do in this situation. A lot of parents don't like that, especially if it's someone that they respect, someone they have high regards for. If it's a pastor, if it's a family friend, a lot of parents will dismiss their children. And I'm like, so now that they have been victimized, their own parents who are supposed to believe them and love them don't even respect them enough to listen and hear them out. And this is a problem where it ties into having no respect for your children. Is if your child could be lying about it. If I had a child and my child said something like this and it comes to find out that my child was lying, I'd rather have known that because I investigated, I found out that my child was lying, than to have automatically dismissed my child and come to find out it really was true. Because I could live with, okay, my child is a liar, but I can't live with my child has been victimized. I knew it, but I chose not to believe it because of my beliefs, because of my admiration for this person. And a lot of black people are not thinking in that manner. And the secret is, a lot of black people have been molested. A lot of black people have been raped, and no one is talking about this. As if you bury it deep enough, it doesn't exist. And that's not. So to wrap up my video, you need to respect your child's body. Respect your child's body in the sense of letting them know, if you don't like a certain thing, if you don't like to be touched, it's okay. You don't have conversation about if your child has developed. Covering your body is not because you're wrong or you're evil. Covering your body is a sense of respect. And because you respect yourself, you don't allow everybody into your personal space. If your body is the temple, not everybody has access to it. And you need to let your children know this on a continuous basis. You let your child know that do not allow anybody to touch you. But if someone attempts to touch you, or if someone does touch you, this is what you do in that situation. This is how you tell me. This is how we go about it. Know that it's a team effort, that this child is not left hanging with guilt and shame. These are things that we need to talk on a continuous basis. If you are a teen parent, or you had your child early, let your child know that as much as you love your child, you wish you had done it the proper way. You wish that it would have not led up to this situation. And if you are a single parent, a young single parent especially, you skillfully, thoroughly sift, scan, background check, checking reputation of the person that you're with, because you just never know. Statistically, your child has a 20% more likely chance of being violated as a single mother with a boyfriend versus someone who comes from a two-parent household. So you need to do diligent work when it comes to who has access to your child. Your child is valuable, and you need to treat your child as a valuable person. So these are just tips I feel as if, especially in the black community, because I'm always going to make videos about the black community because I am black, so I do have a stake and a bias with helping black people. But this is tips for anybody. These are things that you need to think and do for your children, so your children can grow up and to be happy, healthy, loving, determined people, and they're not hurt, and they're not sad, and they're not effed up. I mean, it sounds harsh, but it's true. There are a lot of people out there who are effed up because no one took the time to tell them these things, guide them, give a damn about them. So you take the initiative with your kids, and if it's not your kids, do it with a cousin, do it with a niece, a nephew. Let them know that they are valued, that these are the things that you want to protect them from. So this is the end of my video. Tell me what you think. Have you been a person who has been violated, or have you violated anybody? What other tips that you would give in a situation like this? Is there any other information that I missed that you would like to share, or that you would like to add? Let me know in the comments below. Comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching this video. Be blessed, and I'm out.